I did some weird stuff. I used to run into model homes as fast as I could and take as many photos before I got kicked out.
Oh my God.
And I would upload those to stock photography sites as like model interiors. Lizzie Pierce.
Peter McKinnon.
I've never had you on the channel.
You have not.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on. So back with another episode of Photo Stories, episode 3, with none other than Lizzie Pierce. And stop. Go check out her page, her Instagram, her channel. You're doing great. You're doing great stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm a big fan. And when you were doing those vlogs,
oh yeah, those
were so good. They felt like old home movies.
Yeah, I wanted them to feel real, so that's why I was kind of part phone footage, part we shot on whatever we had. Like
I love that. Like there was no expectation of.
It was like true vlog. That was it.
And it felt fresh. Felt good.
Thank you. We may do something a little different. We'll see.
Okay. Well, keep an eye out. Check out her stuff. And today I brought you a special whiskey called Blanton's. Have you ever heard of it?
No, I have not.
There's this fun little cork.
But I like the bottle.
Right? How cool is that? And they change it for each bottle, and people collect these.
I would keep that bottle for sure.
A friend of mine named Tom, he sent me this bottle. And
Thanks, Tom.
He's an awesome photographer as well from New York. Cheers.
I got excited there.
So for those of you who don't know, Lizzie's also an incredible photographer, and she's agreed to come on the show and share 5 photos with 5 stories. That's the premise here.
Yes.
The stories behind the photos. And we're going to kick things off. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I don't know. Should we rock, paper, scissors?
Rock, paper, scissors. Are you the person that has to say it when you do it too?
Yeah, I have to remember what I'm doing.
It silently. I have to say it. Rock, paper, scissors. Yeah.
So then the timing's right.
Do you remember this picture?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows this picture from the waist up. So it was in my kitchen. I was hanging out with my wife. It was her birthday, and we were making martinis.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I never make martinis. We were just like dumping in stuff, trying things out, and that usually never really goes very well.
No.
It goes one direction, and you kind of know which one that is. But if you zoom out, bam, martini full in frame with a Blue Jays hat and my wife's sweater because she's actually the one that took this photo. Yeah. And what's funny about it is just like a dumb snap. Hey, take a photo of me. It's your birthday, fun day. We're just taking photos. Yeah. Which then became the profile photo.
And it's become in so many places.
Right, which went into so many posters and lanyards and events and speaking events. And it was just always kind of funny where the photo came from, like the context. What do you got for me?
This photo... This is a good story. So this photo was taken with a drone that was not mine. Well, we were in Scotland, but there was a brief moment of time where we thought we were going to be in China shooting a client job. Ended up sending another vendor of ours, another member of our crew to go to China, but we had to send him with Chris's drone. Oh, okay. So we were left with my drone for the entire Scotland trip, and we were also working for the Scotland Tourism Board. Okay. We got there, and there was this beautiful, we're on this very remote island where Chris is going to learn how to surf. There's, a super small population. There are no stores. I think there's, one restaurant. We're in the middle of nowhere.
Sounds nice.
And we're going to film this, epic scene where Chris is going to surf. And I'm like, okay, I get my Mavic Air out. I'm like, I'm going to get the best drone footage. I'm going to drone the shit out of this. And I go to start it up, and I'm getting this warning that says, oh, overheating. And then it just shuts off. And I do that 3 times. So the fan, I basically got a lemon. No. My drone was completely out of commission, and it was so stressful because we had all these trips and I was like, how are we going to get another one? We tried to even buy another one, but we were going to Oban after. Oh, okay. There was no way we could get one in time. So Chris put out kind of a casting call, will anyone come to Oban and help us? And these 2 guys, Jamie and Connor, were like, yeah, we'll come. We'll be there tomorrow, brought their drone and helped us get some drone footage. And then they let me fly their drone over. This is McKegg's Tower in Oban.
Sick photo.
And
it's perfectly circular.
But yeah, I'm really proud of this photo. But it's just such a funny story. This wasn't even one.
I need to visit Scotland. That's my heritage.
Yeah. Oh, you're Scottish too?
Those are my people. You're Scottish too?
I am. English, Irish, Scottish, and German.
Okay.
Are we Scottish friends?
You were Scottish. We just became best friends.
Okay.
Okay, here's one. This is a mutual friend. I'll show you that photo. You know whose helicopter that is.
I do.
That was before it was painted matte black.
Oh, the Millennial Falcon.
Millennial Falcon. That's clever. So Becky and Chris, again, 2 incredible artists. Chris happens to fly helicopters.
Just happens
to fly helicopters.
He's just a doctor who flies helicopters. It's very casual.
Low key.
Yeah.
No flex at all. Not a crazy photo, but a crazy story of how this photo came to be. So it's a helicopter on a rock in the middle of a lake. I get a phone call one day. And Chris is like, hey, man.
Starts with the
call. It always starts with the phone call. Hey, man, Is there anywhere near your house with lots of land where I could land a helicopter?
He's done this to me too.
And I'm like, who calls and asks that? Hey, dude, you have a big yard where I can put a chopper down? I'm like, no, I don't at all. But there's this like airfield like 10 minutes down the road from my house.
I suppose we could go there.
I'll be there in like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, do you by the way, do you have a free time? Like, do you have a free day? Absolutely, I do. If you're going to be in a helicopter at 40 minutes from my house, or in 40 minutes, yes. So I go over there. He's like, bring your one wheel. I'm at this random airfield. This helicopter shows up, and it's Chris. And he's like, hey, man, with his slicked hair. I'm doing this thing called a weekend bucket list. He's like, I'm just trying to make like a bucket list for each weekend so that I maximize the time that I have off. And it's like, oh, that's cool. He's like, so what's on the bucket list for the weekend? I want to land the helicopter in the middle of like a lake on an island and have a picnic. Like, that's a very specific bucket list thing.
Sounds like a nice afternoon.
That's classic Chris, though. So we fly all the way north to, I don't even know where we were. I have no idea. And we find this. He's like, oh, you see, let's go land down there. I'm like, okay, that's safe. And he starts landing it on this rock in the middle of a lake. And he's like, can you open the door and just make sure there's like land underneath like the back skid? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. So I open the thing, the wind.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm like, oh, no, there's nothing. He's like, okay, let's move it. I'm like, no, there's still nothing. Lands it. It's like teetering. He's like, no, it doesn't feel balanced. I'm like, there's definitely nothing. And he found a spot, put it down, and we got some takeout on the way, and we had grilled cheese sandwiches on this random rock in the middle of a lake somewhere north. It's just a cool photo because it kind of just encompasses the crazy dude that Chris is. He's just a big imagination, big creative, and when that guy says he's going to do something, he does it.
This photo actually reminds me of you because remember how you made that film, but how you went to Alberta to find perfect conditions to take a certain photo.
I remember that.
So
quite well.
I was there, and not at Moraine Lake. I was actually staying at the Fairmont Lake Louise, and we woke up to conditions that were exactly that in the spring.
I remember seeing that on your story and just
I'm
thinking,
so
what in the world?
And it was spring. Random. It wasn't fall. It was like a fluke day, and I was well rested. We just woke up, and the lake was melted, and it was snowing, and then everyone we were with was just like, we have to get outside now. And
what time did you get up at?
I had probably like 7 or 8, like a normal
time.
My
goodness.
And so we go out on the lake, and they were still allowing people to take canoes out, which normally doesn't happen when it snows either.
Show it to me.
Hold on.
I remember seeing your stories and just thinking, what
So I took this one from In the Canoe.
Oh my goodness.
And then this one I actually took at Peyto Lake the same day, and it was a glacier meeting the lake. This is actually my favorite one, but I want to show you both of them. Yeah, we printed this up in our kitchen as like a little Peyto Lake series. I remember seeing it, because I really like taking photos that are more abstract, that are just not like what people normally take pictures of.
You're very much negative space, like big sky, small subjects.
And I just love the 100 to 400 because you can get things like that.
Wow.
You know?
Do you use the 100 to 400 a lot?
Yeah, because I can be like, we'll be in a beautiful town. It looks, it's a crappy day. I take what I can from the town, but then I start looking up and around, and I can get all these details that I normally wouldn't be able to. Like same at Peyto Lake. And because Chris can't see with his glasses on, like, he didn't even see this. So he's like, taking his wides. He's like, this looks beautiful. And I'm like, look at this. And he's like, I can't even see that.
That's, you know what? It's such a commitment to carry a telephoto. Especially a 100 to 400. That's no joke.
No, it's heavy.
That's a fat lens.
Yeah, we share it. And so when one of us is getting a good photo with it, we're like, how are you going to be done with this film? Because I want to take it.
Can I throw that on my camera real quick?
Yeah, like, are you finished?
Can you actually move over too? And which way were you pointing the camera?
Yeah. Could I see that one more time?
Yeah. How did you get that in your frame?
Yeah, we do that a lot.
That's so funny. Isn't it interesting when you're shooting and you guys have probably had the same situation happen and you're with a friend and they snap a photo and you look at the back of their screen and it looks insane and you're like, I'm standing right here. What did I miss? And you don't really want to go. You don't want to like move over to try
like
and
to take
capture
the same
frame,
but you're like mad at yourself because you didn't.
Yeah, you're like, what am I missing right now? But I think that equally inspires me just because it's cool that something like he could be shooting wide, you can be shooting on a 400. You're both standing next to each other in the same spot, and it's complete night and day difference.
Everyone has a different eye.
Yeah.
And there's wherever you are, like you can get the same photo that everyone's taken because sometimes you just want that, you want to have it, but then at the end of the day, you also have the opportunity to do something different, take something different.
Ah, that's a great photo. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's keep it in Canada. Let's go over to the East Coast, Peggy's Cove, Nova Scotia. I took this photo in 2007 with a Canon 30D. Do you remember that camera?
Yeah.
And it's horribly green because I was learning how to do Photoshop. Like, look at these rocks. They weren't that. I don't even know what was going on here. But what was interesting about this photo is I removed about 100 people from this.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't get, I mean, I could probably time it now, but the reason it's such a long panoramic is I had been in a photo gallery from a photographer by the name of Peter Lick. And he's got galleries in Hawaii and Las Vegas and a lot of like cool tropical places. And he's big on huge panoramic landscapes. And he had a picture of Peggy's Cove, way better than that I remember just standing in the gallery thinking, like, if I could ever just remotely take something as cool and blow it up and have it look like this and have people standing in front of my own photographs thinking what I'm thinking right now, that would be the dream. And this dude apparently sold his house and his like everything he owned to buy a camera and just lived in his van and drove around Australia, where he's from, taking photos, and then moved to Hawaii, then moved to Vegas and built this crazy photography empire. And he's actually, I think to this date, the only photographer to sell like the most expensive print. But like, so that guy massively inspired. So I took that photo, photoshopped everyone out. I was trying to be like a little mini Peter Lick, kind of like the first photographer I was ever really heavily inspired by, which probably is the reason I'm still doing landscape photos now.
Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery.
Yeah, and it really is. So,
and that's how you learn too. You see a photo you really like, and then like especially at the beginning, and you're trying to copy it as best you can, figure out the settings, figure out the lighting, and that really is. And then you can get original. Like I feel like once you understand all of that,
you got to get the source from somewhere, and then kind of figure yourself out from that point. He follows me on Instagram now too, which is kind of cool.
So if you're watching,
what's up, man? What's up, Pete? You should come on Photo Stories. How much is that print?
$6.5 million.
$6.5 million it's sold for. Ghost, right?
Wow.
Yeah, called Ghost in Antelope Canyon, where he got the perfect shot of what looks like a person.
That's
the most expensive photo in history now clocks in at an impressive $6.5 million. Oh, you're a photographer? How's that going?
Well, you know, one of my photos is worth $6.5 million.
Yeah. Well, I got a link for you. Okay, your turn.
Good.
What's up? What's next?
So this I actually took last weekend. So it's a portrait of a friend of mine who was modeling for me that day.
Oh, sick light.
So there's kind of a lesson behind it. I feel like everyone's had that day, week, month, maybe 6 months where you feel like, and especially because of COVID, we're all really rusty right now. We haven't been out to shoot.
Sure.
You're just like, am I actually good at what I do?
Yeah, I forget how to do this.
Yeah, and then you show up to shoot and you're like, oh, I'm sure I'll take something that's okay. And I was trying to shoot a video, so this was all for like a behind the scenes shoot.
Okay.
All the photos I'm really happy with from that day. But at the end of the shoot, I pulled out my lens baby to take this.
Oh, I haven't heard about one of those in so long.
Yeah, and I mean, they're pretty cheap. They're not the sharpest. They're $400.
Yeah.
But I really like the style, and I think there's something to be said about getting
it
a
like
zoom camera.
Warps and like blurs the edges.
Yeah,
right?
it's a tilt shift. Yeah. So I focused it on the center as much as I could see on my monitor and took this photo, and I just felt like it added, I don't know, it's probably one of my favorite portraits I've ever taken. And yeah, it was just like,
I like that you have her framed inside the
thank you,
whatever the back.
Yeah, this is that mint room in downtown.
Oh,
so it's actually an inside like Moroccan-y kind of set.
I used to book studios back in the day, and I would have all my friends come out for free because I had no money to pay them, and I would make them wear like business attire and hold clipboards and legal size paper and like calculators, and I would take a bunch of business related stock photos.
That's smart.
Because business stuff from iStock Photo back in the day was always super popular. So I had a bunch of my like friends trying to look corporate, like young corporate individuals, and like the hashtags and stuff. And that always like did pretty well. And then I would like buy them lunch, and they were just psyched to help.
Yeah.
And that was how I made like living with photography. I did some weird stuff. I used to run into model homes as fast as I could and take as many photos before I got kicked out.
Oh my God.
And I would upload those to stock photography sites as like model interiors.
Like, I guess we get a lot of people coming to us saying like, oh, I want to shoot real estate photography or whatever the genre is.
Yeah.
And they've never shot it before.
Yeah.
And like, how do I get more jobs in that? I'm like, well, first you have to take the photo and you have to put it in your reel, and then you have to show it to them, and then maybe they will, shoot more. And there's tons of ways that you can get that. I mean, you could run into model homes and do that.
With a mask.
That's initiative. Yeah, with a mask.
Yeah. Okay, here's a fun one. Do you know what that is?
That is bear. I don't know exactly what they are.
It's coffee.
They're coffee beans?
Yeah, coffee. So coffee's inside those berries. The beans
so
are inside those berries. I went to Kenya with my friend Dennis, who's a chef. You guys have seen, he's got that Netflix show. It was like we got the opportunity to go to a coffee farm, which was like the dream.
That's super cool.
And I just wanted a shot like this for so long. But I just remember meeting
I love it.
The people there were just so incredible. And interesting enough, they don't even have very good coffee in places like Kenya or Ethiopia because it's all exported. Because they grow it all and export it so like we can have it. Yeah. Which sucks because like they drink Nescafe. Yeah. So like when I got to
feel a little guilty, doesn't it?
I got to have coffee with the farmer. And I remember he brought out like a big tray of coffees from his farm. And it was pretty cool to be able to sit with the farmer in his like coffee farm drinking his coffee.
That's really not something most people get to do.
Never.
Ever.
Never. No. So I think of all the places I've gone with YouTube and all the places it's taken me, that is probably still like the coolest thing and place and people I've ever met, done, experienced as a YouTuber.
This is from our trip to Switzerland. And again, that's 100 to 400.
You are slaying with that 100 to 400.
It's such a weird one too. It's not.
Look at this.
That trip was probably, I mean, Chris and I have always wanted to travel and work at the same time. So whatever way we got to do that, whether photo, video, working for tourism companies, I mean, that was like the pinnacle of everything. Yeah. And this trip, I mean, we never would have been able to take that, like afford that trip in itself, if not for going there for work. Yeah. Because the length of time we were able to stay, the activities that we did, I mean, albeit while we were working.
Sure.
And then to shoot 2, I think 30, 45 second videos for them that were just supposed to be like epic, beautiful footage.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was mind blowing. And again, these are some of my favorite photos from that trip. But like one day all we ate was fondue.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
And I was just like, how is this my life? We ate fondue on top of a mountain and then came down the mountain. And at night, we went to a hot tub where we ate fondue again.
Last time I had fondue was in Switzerland too.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, here's my last one here. I took this in 2008. Not the best photo.
New York.
But it represents the moment I changed my entire like course of life and career and direction and pattern of thinking. So this shot right here of New York in Times Square, it's like one of the first long exposure photos I ever did. It was me just trying to figure it out. But you know that State Farm story when I got fired from working at State Farm?
Oh, that's why you were there?
That's the photo from when I got fired at State Farm. So that's why it's so
beautiful story.
Pinnacle, yeah. If you don't know the story, Cole's notes real fast. Let me know in the comments below if you want a full updated video on said story. If you've seen me speak anywhere, you've heard it. I got fired for State Farm because I called in sick and went to New York City to take photos and meet David Blaine. That's the Cole's notes.
And then came back and didn't lie about it.
Came back. They asked me about it. I was like, yeah, I did that. That's what happened. And then I got fired. But that was kind of me taking like what I wanted, like my dream, into like my own hands. And this photo kind of symbolizes like the first attempt at trying to be a photographer and like make my own way.
Okay, last one.
Finale.
And the grand finale goes to another Alberta photo.
You can't go wrong with an Alberta photo, though.
Like so many of mine are Alberta.
But honestly, when I go there, and if anyone follows my Instagram accounts, I come back with photos. I could post photos for like the next 6 months with the amount of photos I can take there in like 3 days.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
Yeah, especially if you're in Banff or you're in Jasper, you're just driving to all these different
I remember areas. Seeing this. This
one,
one,
and I posted it?
This one pisses me off. This one, straight up, you don't understand.
I got lucky.
No.
That's exact.
No. You don't get that being lucky, okay? This photo is probably one of the best photos I've ever seen from you. If not the best photos I've ever seen from Alberta.
Thanks.
The snow, the wind being pulled off the mountain peak, the mood, the muted blues. Yeah, it literally, it's perfect. It's a perfect photo.
That's what I thought at the time. And I still think like that's why I'm still so proud of it. I'm pretty sure this was with the 100 to 400 again. I don't know. I just like that lens. And then
note to self. Everyone listening, watching, we're all going to go try the 100 to 400 after this episode.
Please sponsor me. The wind started to pick up.
Hell yeah, it did.
And my camera just happened to be ready. I was just taking photos of the peak anyways because I thought, oh, okay, the light's nice on top of it. And then the wind starts blowing and Chris is like, hold on. He's like, oh my God, take this photo right now. Because I think I was just normal. I couldn't really see it through the monitor. And if you look up, it's obviously really evident. And then so I just start snapping about 1 million photos. And it stopped. And we weren't sure whether it was going to happen again. Like the wind just picked up for 1 second. And when it stopped, Chris was like, okay, you got your photo. Give me the lens now. And luckily,
I need that lens.
We waited a bit, and he did get it too. But after that, we didn't see the wind pick up like that again. And everyone's taking wides there of the and so was I.
Yeah.
But it's when you start, you're like, okay, well, I got these. I'm pretty happy with those. And then you change your lens, change the angle, and you get something.
I've never been there in the winter to shoot anything other than Moraine Lake for that bucket shot. So those 2 days that I was there,
it's very uncomfortable.
Was just to get that one photo though.
Yeah.
And then I left.
Yeah.
So I need to do like a proper winter visit.
Well, let's go back because we didn't do Moraine.
And bring that 100 to 400.
Oh, we will. I don't leave the house without it except today.
Clearly. Okay, I'll leave the macro at home and we'll all bring the old Lizzie Pierce 100 to 400.
We can switch.
Yeah, we'll trade. You can get photos of nothing and I'll get banger photos of
just snowflakes,
Miss
just
National
like macro
Geographic
snowflakes.
Over here. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete my Instagram after that one. That photo.
Please don't. I feel like people will be really upset about that.
Lizzie, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for showing me your photos. And for everyone watching, check her out. Left her links in the description below, and the end card will link to her channel. She makes great content and takes great photos. Everyone go to Lizzie's channel and type fondue on her latest video.
That'll tempt me.
That'll be a fun little thing for you to read in the morning if there's like 200 comments that say fondue.
Can't wait.
Thanks so much for watching. Hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe if you aren't already. And we will see you in the next video. Peace.